Welcome to VoroMotors. Today we're going to be showing you how to replace your current Sinewave controller with the new Sinewave controller on the EMOVE Cruiser. For these tasks, you'll need a 2, 3, and 4mm hex key, and electrical tape. First, let's start by removing the 5 bigger screws located at the front and rear of the deck using your 4mm hex key. Next, take your 3mm hex key and remove the remaining 10 screws that are on top of the deck. Once all the screws are removed, we can remove the deck. Depending on the type of model cruiser you have, your controller could be located either in front of the battery or inside of the U-deck. If you have the first cruiser model, your controller will be silver and located inside the U-deck, just like the current cruiser shown on camera. If you have the second cruiser model, the controller will still be silver, but located inside the top part of the deck in front of the battery. Since we have the first model cruiser, let's fold the stem of the scooter down, that way we can remove the Sinewave controller from the U-deck. First, remove the 4 screws located directly in front of the U-deck cover using your 4mm hex key. Then we'll remove the 2 remaining silver screws located on each side of the U-deck cover. Next, remove the U-deck cover. Once you locate your controller, pull the controller outside of the U-deck. That way we can access all the wires. Let's start by unplugging the 3 green, blue, and yellow phase wires, followed by the motor hall cables from the controller. Pull all the wires out of the front of the U-deck. Next, unplug the orange and white, red and black, white and black, and the LCD and throttle 6-pin connector. Now unplug the PCB step-down cable, which will be your blue and black cables, followed by the thicker red and black battery cables. Once you have these cables unplugged, you should be able to remove your Sinewave controller. Taking your new black Sinewave controller, slide the cable wires through the top of the deck and feed the wires through the front of the U-deck. However, keep in mind that the green, blue, and yellow phase wires and the hall cable will be fed through the side of the U-deck. First, let's connect the white big connector back together, followed by the green, blue, and yellow phase wires. Next, grab the white connector from the controller and connect it to the white single wire. The orange and white cable from your controller will always match with the other orange and white cable from your PCB. Now let's connect your 6-pin connector, and then grab the single black wire from your PCB and connect it to the other single black wire coming from your controller. Next, connect the red and black cables coming from your controller to the blue and black cables coming from your LCD lights. Keep in mind that the single black and white cable and the orange and black cable are not used. Lastly, reconnect the black negative wire coming from the controller to the negative blue wire from the battery. Then connect both red cables together next. There will be a spark when connecting the red battery cable, but this is okay, so don't be alarmed. Now let's power the scooter on to make sure everything's working properly. If everything is, you can go ahead and organize all the cables back into the deck and close it up. First, repackage all of the cable wiring back into the deck of the scooter as neatly as possible. Once you have all the cables back inside the front and sides of the deck, you can put the U-deck cover back on. The U-deck cover should slide on pretty easily, but if it doesn't, you may need to reorganize the cable contents again. Now let's put on the 4 silver screws located on the front of the U-deck cover using your 4mm hex key. Next, using your 3mm hex key, screw in the 2 silver screws on both sides of the U-deck. Now that we have the U-deck cover back on, let's unfold the stem of the scooter, that way we can screw in the top deck cover. Using your 3mm hex key, screw in all the remaining 10 screws on top of the deck. Once you have all the deck screws in, you're set to take your new upgraded cruiser for a ride. And that's it! Do you have any tutorials you'd like to see? Make sure to leave them in the comment section below. Until then, safe riding.